The defense Deoxys is dumping its energy. We are going to put all our faith in Shadow Poliwrath cleaning up this game. We are going to shield the Psycho Boost. They will probably look to dip. They attempt to catch a move on a 1 HP Drapion, and we do not fall for that absolute nonsense. What is in the back? Oh, hi Obstagoon, bye Obstagoon, get fucking wrecked, and that is a good game. So finally, I'm able to run a team that I've wanted to run for a few seasons now. I saw Pogo King showcase Poliwrath Double Dark Poison a couple of seasons ago on his channel, and I'm wanting to use it ever since because they're all available in Triple Shadow. With the recent Stunky Spotlight Hour, I was finally able to make a Shadow Skuntank, so it's a pretty standard ABB team. We've got Shadow Poliwrath in the lead to get rid of any Steel types or Swamperts we might see, and we've got 2 Dark Poisons in the back. We'll be safe switching into Drapion to try and draw out that counter if we don't see it in the lead, using the Shadow Skuntank to close matches. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the battles. And in game 1, we lead Shadow Poliwrath into XL Scrafty. Counters will start to add up, however, Dynamic Punch will absolutely clap. The opponent is throwing a pop, which we don't obviously have to shield, but they are now boosting their counters. They attempt to catch a move onto the pink jellyfish. We farm up a boatload of energy and switch out into Drapion. Drapion absolutely dominates this stupid fluffy jellyfish. They are on Bubble Beam, so this is going to get pretty fucking boring. They are going to debuff the shit of us, but the first crunch still does huge damage despite the debuff. This second one is still not going to really do anything. We can now over farm, and this crunch should still KO despite us being double debuff because Shadow Drapion is that fucking good. See you fucking later, jellyfish. If Scrafty does come back out, we will be spamming out Sludge Bomb. Well, I say spamming out, we'll get to at least one. Sludge Bomb, even double debuff, does hit really hard, and it has now put Scrafty into Dynamic Punch range. The opponent probably should have farmed me down. A bit of a new play on their part. So they've now dumped a lot of energy. We can now come in with Poliwrath. We almost got 2 Dynamic Punches. Locked and loaded. Is the opponent willing to go down? Their first shield, see you later. Here comes Dynamic Punch number 2. Is the opponent willing to double shield? Yes, they are, so they must be weak. 2 Poliwrath in the back. This is just a pop, so I'm not going to shield. I'm hoping I can make 1 more Dynamic Punch, but as you can see, my health is getting really low. So I'm just going to go for an Ice Punch and switch out into the Skunk and hope Skuntank can close out this match. The opponent could throw a double boosted foul play, so I am going to shield it up. I do have 2 shields. They smartly go for a power up punch to try and get some more boosted counter damage, and in the back is the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. But guess what, Talonflame? You are about to get absolutely wrecked. We can now shield this move up, Poison Jab down, and just for a bit of a BM, we're going to Flamethrower that Scrafty in the back. The Flamethrower is locked and loaded. Hi Scrafty, bye Scrafty, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's and thanks for playing. You can already see that Dark Poison is such a good typing in the Ultra League, only being weak to ground. It is absolutely fantastic in this meta. So in game 2, we see Talonflame in the lead. We're going to try and CMP tie them on the Brave Bird. However, we get there 1 turn before. The opponent takes the crunch and switch out into the Walrus. We are going to spam out a crunch. We will survive an Icicle Sphere, however we would get Powder Snow down. The opponent is over farming. This Icicle Sphere will not KO, and unless they are willing to throw the next one, we should get to a crunch. The opponent doesn't throw the next Icicle Sphere, so a second crunch is going to land, and it gets this Walrus super low, and it's actually a CMP tie. You can see on the left that my IVs are pretty trash, so our high attack did come in clutch there, as often Drapion, if you got a rank 1, will lose CMP to Walrus. We now come in, commit to the Mud Shot down. The Talonflame comes back out. We are going to shield this move up. It is just a Flame Charge. Let's see what the opponent has in the back. In the back is the big thick Tin Can. Flamethrower does hit for super effective, but with non-stab, it doesn't even do half of the Reggie's health, so we go for a crunch, fishing for the defense drop. We don't get it. The opponent throws a Zap Cannon. It doesn't KO, and this time round, we are going to go for a Flamethrower. If the opponent is unwilling to shield, this should put it into a Mud Shot farm down range. Flamethrower lands, it does huge damage. The Reggie Steel shits its pants, it dumps its energy. We can now Mud Shot it down, and we're going to need to get to 3 moves versus a Talonflame. So it's very important to time your charge moves correctly. So we throw 2 Mud Shots, then an Ice Punch. That's only 1 Incinerate. They're going to need to get to back-to-back moves. So again, I throw 2 Mud Shots and the Ice Punch. This will be getting the next shield. The Talonflame still needs 2 Incinerates for the back-to-back. They have absolutely no chance, and Poliwrath, despite not being on Scald, takes this game. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on into the next battle, we lead Shadow Poliwrath into Cresselia. Once again, a matchup where you really wish you did have Scald. So I am going to attempt to catch a Grass Knot onto Drapion, and we are successful. So it's 6 Cycle Cuts to a Grass Knot. Stay in school, kids. Learn your counts. Here comes Poliwrath. This is absolutely not fantastic, as now Dynamic Punch will one-shot from this health range. We go for a Sludge Bomb. It lands. This is a CMP tie. So we are probably going to get taken out with a Dynamic Punch. The opponent smartly goes for a Scald, and we get Mud Shot down. I didn't think I'd make another crunch. I think the next mud shot will KO me. We actually do survive, so I could have perhaps made the sludge. Depends if the game was working correctly. But either way, we got this Poliwrath super low, so I'm now going to have to come in, soak up this energy, and commit to the mud shot farm down. So we tank the dynamic punch, so the opponent is on nukes. Unfortunately, they're at yet another move. This is dreadful, so I am going to have to shield this up. This really isn't a great spot to be in. I'm now hoping that Shadow Skunk can close out this game. I'm spamming out Skuntank. In the back is a Giratina, and this is where having Poison Jab is dreadful. So we're going to have to try and keep the Skunk alive. We're going to have to try and sack the Poliwrath at some stage. I'm hoping my switch timer does pop up and I can snipe it with an Ice Punch. The first crunch does land. The opponent smartly is saving their shields for Cresselia. We are resisting these Shadow Claws. You can see I'm desperately hoping that my switch timer pops up. It still hasn't come up, so I'm going to throw this crunch, switch into Poliwrath, but it still hasn't burnt. Holy fucking crap, where is my switch timer? This means I'm going to be forced to burn my final shield. They now come in with the Cresselia, and hopefully they think I am on Scald. However, I'm on Ice Punch, and this game is absolutely fucking over. I'm going to spam out one more Ice Punch, and I think it's about time that I reached for that top left. But for some reason, it looks like I am going to spam one more out. But I remember this battle, I definitely do quit the match. So GG's to that opponent. Really well played to that opponent. You can see they switched out into Cresselia as they knew I would come in with Poliwrath and attempt to snipe with an Ice Punch. So once again, we see Giratina in the lead. I'm now going to switch out into Drapion, and they come in with Obstagoon. This is a pretty decent matchup for Drapion, as two Sludge Bombs will KO with the Poison Jabs, and we aren't really too threatened. Cross Chop will not KO, and we are going to outpace to the next Sludge Bomb. Cross Chop would have been neutral, but the opponent fishes for the boost and throw a resisted Night Slash. We now land the Sludge Bomb. We have flipped switch advantage. However, Dragon Breath Giratina is a huge problem for this team. They've got a Walrus in the back. So I am going to throw this crunch. We draw the opponent's first shield, so hopefully Poliwrath is going to have to put in a load of work. As we are now up shields, the Skuntank matchup with Giratina isn't that bad, despite us being on Poison Jab, which is resisted. The opponent throws an Earthquake. Poliwrath is super thick. We see the Giratina come in. We're really quick on the switch. We catch the move on the Skuntank, and we're going to need to get to one crunch plus an Ice Punch to take it out. I've got no intentions of shielding this Skunk whatsoever. We get to a crunch. If this lands, it will do huge damage to the Giratina. The opponent chooses to shield it up, and I'm still not going to shield the Skunk. Shadow Poliwrath is an absolute fucking monster, and I've got faith in it closing out this game. So we come back in with Poliwrath. Ice Punch is locked and loaded. It's going to take one more Ice Punch to KO. I've got two shields, so I'm going to shield this move up. Their switch timer will pop up, so I imagine the swap will be coming. Out comes Wall Rain. This is just an Icicle Sphere, so I am not going to shield. You can see we are getting super low. I'm going to CMP tie on this move, and my absolute beautiful IVs have absolutely fucked me in the ass. Poliwrath usually always wins CMP. This is the only CMP tie I've lost to a Walrus, so they must have a really high attack, but either way, Dynamic Punch takes out Walrus, and now, ironically, my low attack, huge defense stack come in clutch, and we win that match with 1 HP and a dream. So you could say IVs matter. However, the high attack Wall Rain is not a bad option in the Ultra League if you are going to use Wall Rain, because it's absolutely everywhere, and winning CMP is going to be pretty nice. In the next battle, we pick up a lead against Shadow Grumble. Holy crap, we need to get out of there. They save switch into Talonflame, and if you time your moves correctly in the 2 shield, despite my health bar getting already down to around 60%, Drapion will survive and win the 2 shield. So once again, I'm going to need to time my charge move correctly, so I throw 2 Poison Stings for an Incinerate, only going to have 1 free turn. The opponent is going to shield this move up. We sneak a Poison Sting through. Again, I know that I will outpace to the next move, so I'm going to throw 2 more Poison Stings. The Talonflame is now 10 turns away from the next move. That shield was absolute garbage because it only takes us 8 turns to make the crunch, and Drapion has flipped this mid-game. And now we can realign our Skuntank onto that Shadow Gramble. So you might think you've got rid of our Poison type, but hello Gramble, meet Poison type number 2. The opponent makes a beautiful swap into an Umbreon to catch this crunch. In return, I am now counting snarls. I'm going to look to sack my Poliwrath. So we do catch a charge move. I'm hoping this is the last resort, but the opponent is on Psychic, so we're still in a bit of a tricky spot. I can't take out this Umbreon, and I don't want to allow the Gramble to farm me down, as it will win CMP versus my Skunk. So go for an undercharge on the CMP tie. I'm going to look to try and Poison Jab down this Umbreon. They're now 4 away from the Dark Pulse or Foul Play. You can see that they are just now getting to the move. I see the Gramble come in. I throw the Flamethrower. That takes them out. We need to survive this move. Can we survive a resisted Foul Play? Yes, we can. And we win yet another match with 1 HP and a dream. You love to see it. So moving on into the next battle, we lead Poliwrath into Porygon Z. This is a pretty spicy pick, and they are going to be spamming out Tri-Attack. They've got a 50% chance of a double debuff, and of course we get debuffed. This isn't fantastic, so I look to catch the next Tri-Attack onto my Drapion, hoping for no debuff, and we get yet another debuff. Holy fucking shit. This does now mean that our Crunch will be doing a lot less damage. You can see the squishy Porygon Z tanks that no problems. This Tri-Attack will KO, but I've got no intentions of shielding up Drapion. I'm going to come back in with Poliwrath, look to overfarm as much as possible. I'm just going to throw an Ice Punch as I need to try and get some residual energy for whatever's coming in. Ice Punch will not KO, but it will put it into a Mud Shot farm down range. So I can now shield this move up. If the opponent doesn't switch out, we'll get an absolute boatload of energy. We're close to 100, and here comes Venusaur. So I am going to spam out an Ice Punch to chip it. The opponent does shield it up, and here comes Skunk. All moves are resisted on Shadow Skuntank. However, we are quite classy, and that Frenzy Plant did a fucking lot of damage. As we have both only got one shield remaining, I'm going straight for the Hail Mary of the Flamethrower, and the Venusaur actually shields. However, with these residual poison jabs, they are pretty much in Ice Punch range. So we're going to allow Skuntank to go down. We're going to come back in with Poliwrath. This Ice Punch will be KOing or getting the final shield. So we take out the Venusaur. In the back is a Wall Rain. So we know they're going to try and make the Sacrificial Swap at some stage. So I'm going to shield up this move. I know it's an Icicle Sphere. The sack does finally come, and that gives us the energy that we require for the back-to-back Dynamic Punches. First Dynamic Punch will not KO, but this second one absolutely will. So GG's, and thanks for playing. Despite us getting debuffed 6,482 times, we win that battle. It's always important to be aware when opponent switches out of a Pokemon on 1 HP, they will attempt to use it as a shield. So keeping your nerve there was the key to victory. So the opponent leads Melmetal into our Poliwrath. They attempt to catch a Dynamic Punch onto Cresselia, and once again we hold our energy. Drapion has a pretty good matchup here as long as we don't get an attack drop. So we've already been debuffed numerous times in the video, and this time we actually don't get debuffed. You love to see it. We are going to spam out yet another Crunch. This Crunch will not KO, but the opponent actually chooses to shield. So I am now going to match shields, and the next Crunch should KO. But look at that, the attack falls, so now they will survive. This puts us in a bit of a shitty spot. I'm not willing to shield once again. You can see on 1 HP and a Dream, Cresselia does survive, and they do flip the mid game. Not fucking fantastic, but this is an opportunity to come in with Poliwrath and commit to the Mud Shot farm down. We are taking super effective from Psycho Cuts, but they don't do too much damage. The opponent now comes in with a Venusaur, so we see yet another Venusaur. However, this is where the Ice Punch coverage is nice. We're really looking to get the opponent's final shield, so we go for yet another Ice Punch. The opponent does give up their final shield. Now here comes the Skunk. They bank a move and come back in with Melmetal. I've got no intentions of shielding up the Skunk whatsoever. Rock Slide isn't too threatening. We are going for this super effective Flamethrower. I really wish it would one-shot, but it does not. But they are now really low. Can we resist it? Poison Jab down. No, we cannot. The opponent is going to have to superpower us to take us out. They go for a Rock Slide. They realise that was a bit of a noob play, and now they dump the remainder of their energy. So we will come in with Poliwrath, Mud Shot it down. We can now shield up this move from the Venusaur, and we're going to Ice Punch and take the victory. So get ready for the overused phrase of Poliwrath is a Venusaur counter confirmed. So GG's, and thanks for playing. I don't think in a set of battles I've ever been debuffed as much as I have in this. Normally Crunch gets the debuff, however we seem to be the recipient of the debuff ourselves despite having 2 Crunch users. So in the next battle we lead Poliwrath into Giratina, so I come into my softer counter of Skuntank. They meet us with a Wall Rain. They will need to Earthquake to take us out. However, they go just for an Icicle Sphere, so they will need one more to take us out. They dump the remainder of their energy. I am going to allow Skuntank to go down as Poliwrath can now come in and load up on some energy. So we come in with the Poliwrath. The opponent very smartly is over farming towards the Earthquake, so I decide I don't want to take that damage on Poliwrath. We get rid of it with a Dynamic Punch, and here comes Giratina. So we sneak a Mud Shot in. I am going to tank this move. Poliwrath be quite thick, despite it being Shadow. We're going to throw an Ice Punch just to get some chip damage, and then look to dip into our Drapion. Ice Punch lands. It now pretty much is in 1 Crunch range. In the back is a Talonflame. You've already seen this matchup in the video. We can win this in the 2 shield. So the Talonflame shields the first one up. We are going to shield absolutely everything. I really need to get rid of this Talonflame as our Poliwrath really doesn't want to see it. Once again, I am timing my charge moves correctly, not to allow any free Incinerates. We get the defense drop, and at this stage now I think it's time for the aggressive Poison Sting farm down. The free Incinerates away from the next move, and you can see They only get 2. We're now loaded, full of energy. We've got the back-to-back crunches locked and loaded. First crunch gets the shield, and I'm going to come in just to do some mud shot damage to make sure they are in crunch range. Drapion does win CMP, so I think effectively I am just wasting the opponent's time, or perhaps they're wasting mine. Ice Punch lands. They are going to Dragon Breath us down. We've got the crunch locked and loaded. If I could remember what side my charge was on, I probably would have BM Sludge Bombed them. But as I switch teams so frequently, I couldn't remember, and we just take the victory with the crunch. Moving on into the next battle, we see the Swampert in the lead. This is something our backline really doesn't want to see. I'm going to look to CMP tie on the potential Earthquake, which we do here to not allow any free mud shot through. They do go straight for the Earthquake. We now go for the Dynamic Punch. If this lands, it will now put the Swampert into Ice Punch range. They now come in with an Escavalier, and holy crap, our 2 Dark Poison types don't want to see this. We now get an early shield with the Dynamic Punch and switch out into Drapion. We can obviously win this in the 2-to-1 shield. We are really spammy. We deny a counter and we are going for a crunch. We'll need 2 crunches, 2 KO. First crunch does huge damage. Once again, I am going to shield this up, as we definitely are not going to poison jab down this Escavalier from this range. I overfarm as much as possible, and now 2 counters away from the next drill run. The opponent actually shields it up, and now they switch back out into the Swampert. I'm just going to get rid of this immediately with a crunch. See you later, Swampert. What is in the back? In the back is a Venusaur, so I am counting. I'm looking to bank that crunch and switch out into the Skunk. Absolutely beautiful, if I do say so myself. The opponent will outpace us to the next move. This Frenzy Plant will be taking us out, but the opponent is switch locked. We do resist Vine Whips on our Drapion, so I've just got Overfarm to the back-to-back. This crunch will be taking out Venusaur, and the next crunch will be taking out Escavalier. Once again, Drapion, you absolute fucking monster, and that is a good game. GG's and thanks for playing. So moving on into the final battle of the video. We're currently 8-1 and 4-0 in this set. Can we clutch out the perfect 5-0? We're about to find out. So we lead Poliwrath into Giratina, once again on Dragon Breath, which isn't fantastic, so I am counting Dragon Breaths. Yes, I do count Dragon Breaths, I am that fucking anal. We catch the Dragon Claw on Drapion, and here comes Empoleon. So we are going to spam out as many crunches as possible. The opponent will probably take us out with a Hydro Cannon. First crunch does land. The second crunch will be threatening the shield. The opponent has overfarmed heavily. They probably should have thrown just to get rid of us. However, it looks like the opponent is now looking to commit to the waterfall farm down, and that is a mistake because they're now going to have to commit their second shield. So we've got all shields down. We've got the steel type on the battlefield. We can now come in with Poliwrath. I'm going to tank 1 Drill Peck and overfarm, but the opponent, like a noob, throws a waterfall. So we throw a Dynamic Punch in the middle of that animation, and the opponent thinks, fucking hell, what a crap play, and they leave the battle. And you can see we go 5-0 in set number 2. So overall, I was pretty impressed with this team. I went 17-8 on the day. I think these battles were played yesterday, Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember as I'm on night shifts at work, so I'm really confused what day it is, but the team is super OP. I really love all 3 of these Pokemon. However, the start of the show once again is Shadow Drapion. So if you're looking to build something or a spicy Pokemon, Shadow Drapion is something you can go for. I wouldn't even say it's spicy. I believe it is one of the best picks in the entire meta, despite it not being ranked that highly. So I'd just like to say thanks for watching. If you're new, please consider subscribing or leaving a like to help my channel grow, as we are starting to grow and I'm really enjoying making content. If you'd like your battles featured on the channel, link in the description down below, and I will see you all in the next one.